What needs to stop being romanticized? Self-harm. Depression. People say they suffer from depression and it's all cool and trendy until they haven't showered in 6 days, can't get out of bed, or can't go to work. Hey now. I go 3 days not 6. Edit, not brushing your teeth sucks in 3 days time. I used to have perfect teeth. Brush your teeth. It takes 2 minutes, but it's a fucking chore. Harley Quinn and the Joker's abusive relationship. Several other celebrated tween book series relationships come to mind as well, but this one is the first one that comes to mind for me for many reasons. Batman, the animated series, the series responsible for Harley Quinn's creation, had an episode titled Mad Love. It definitely, absolutely, without a doubt, explicitly stated, in no uncertain terms, that their relationship was abusive, disturbingly and realistically so, implying at the end that the cycle of abuse was bound to continue. Really glad she got with Poison Ivy. But Harley actually manages to trap Batman on her own and is about to kill him to impress the Joker. Joker shows up, doesn't like her punchline, and slaps her out a window. I remember her crying in the hospital and him sending flowers. Cheating. This is my answer. Adultery and cheating are cowardly and shitty. If you cheat, I consider you a piece of shit. Cartels. Seriously, Netflix and Hulu, El Chapo is a mass murderer. This one reason why I liked Sicario. I'm sure it's embellished, but when they enter that house at the beginning and show the reality of the cartels always being in a romantic relationship, you don't need someone to complete you. You're already a complete person and deserve to find love when the time is right, not just latching onto anyone and everyone who shows a shred of affection. Thank you. It drilled into my head when I was a teenager that I needed and so to feel complete in life. Thus, in my awkward teenage and young adult life, I felt utterly miserable at the fact that I was single. Luckily, that's all past now and have focused to better on myself with a little help with my friends. I'm glad to hear that you have been doing better, and I hope that continues for you. It's hard to break the cycle, and I'm proud of you for working through it and bettering yourself and your life. Much love to you, friend. Mental illness is an obvious answer, but a good one nonetheless. Girl in high school insisted she had PTSD from her boyfriend cheating on her when he got high and kissed her friend. She also loves romanticizing her BPD, which I'm still a bit skeptical of. I have BPD and a long history of unresolved trauma, so it makes me unspeakably angry. My sister-in-law is a massive bitch and an all-around awful person. She and her parents use bipolar disorder as an excuse for her, and it annoys me because I'm entirely unconvinced that she has any mental disorders or anything. I truly believe she's just an extremely spoiled, rotten, mean, downright nasty individual. I think they met their neighbor who actually did have BPD, and just decided to claim that for Sil so that she can feel special and get free passes on her behavior and attitude, getting drunk. Give me some of that old-time come-down depression, stalking, but it's romantic when he shows up outside your house and or place of work after a 2-minute conversation. How else are you meant to know they're made for each other? It only counts if he's blaring a boombox and singing off-key. Gangsters. This applies to both romanticization of Prohibition-era gangsters in movies and to the romanticization of gangsters in rap music. With that being said, the Godfather series is still a masterpiece. Distant piano. Muta 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 muta. Oh, I wish I had an eye condition so I could wear glasses. I have keratoconus. To put it simply, I have to wear rigid contact lenses every day, and glasses are not an option. Having to stick a glass-like material in your eye every day for the whole day isn't the most comfortable thing ever. As my friend just signed up to the army expecting something movie-like. I'd say war. I'm military. Would also say war. Infidelity, love triangles and mind-fucking games. On both sides. Yes, cheating is always romanticized in movies and makes it seem like it's okay and that there are no repercussions to your actions. Being ill, physically or mentally. Looking at social media these days you'd think it was aspirational, Guy just washed my hands, I'm so OCD. That is so romantic. Take me now, being overwhelmed / and overworked. The Puritan American work ethic is killer. Which still in turn is nowhere bad as Japanese and Korean work ethic. People getting their medical bills getting paid for with crowdfunding as some sort of amazing proof of human kindness and presented as a feel-good story in the US. For every one of those stories there are dozens of people who just languish. This shouldn't happen in the greatest country in the world. We in the US should be better than that, and we easily could be. I don't fault the winners at all, I am extremely thankful that they get helped, but the conditions for it to happen shouldn't exist in the first place. Greater than for every one of those stories there are dozens of people who just languish. This shouldn't happen in the greatest country in the world. 100% agree with the rest of your post, but one of the reasons all this preventable cruelty happens is because people believe it is the greatest country in the world. Drugs. When many countries especially don't understand addiction, the romanticization of drugs makes the problem even worse. Abuse, mental illnesses, etc. Basically, anything serious you could think of needs to stop being romanticized. It's stupid, practically being a slave to your soul. One person shouldn't have to do every little thing just for the satisfaction of their partner. The worst thing is younger couples who shut out everyone else and sink into their own world. Their autonomy seems to just evaporate and the simplest of mundane errands, collecting the dry cleaning, buying a pint of milk from the local shop, posting a letter etc. has to be done as a couple. You really notice this if you have mutual friends with them and there is a social activity happening. One of them pulls out for any reason, you can bet your house the other party in that relationship will also stay away. Totally incapable of turning up alone and saying hello to their friends. That must get absolutely suffocating. Or when one of them goes away for an extended period of time and the other one freaks out and has to stay busy and is suddenly wanting to hang out every night. Yeah, guy, now you know how I feel. Pop culture that depicts a woman changing a man drastically through the power of love. Men aren't fixer-uppers to be bought with a plan in mind to shape them. It's both disrespectful to the man and delusional on the woman's part, and it sets unrealistic expectations that often don't end well. Rom-coms should be banned. Suicide. It kind of surprised me when I realized that most of the people who romanticize it are mentally ill and suicidal themselves. I'm guilty myself, but that's when it made sense to me. Mentally ill people see it as the solution to all their problems, like eternal elation for them. In my experience, it's only when you feel like you're actually physically close to death and have no choice but to face it imminently, for example if you're dead and don't think you'll make it, that reality sets in to fill you with regret, and it's awful. Yeah, and shows like 13 Reasons Why don't help. That show is a pile of shite. Bad boys with tragic pasts. I don't care about how horrible their childhood was, it's no free pass for them to be abusive assholes. As somebody who grew up with abusive parents, your assholish behavior is not your fault until you are aware of it. Once you are aware, it is your responsibility to change. Until I met my now wife, I was short-tempered, dishonest, and extremely defensive. When I reached 18 we started dating and I began to see those things were not normal and I worked hard to change myself. It's been 7 years now and I still can be defensive at times, but I know that I am my own man and my past does not decide how I act today. Suicidal tendencies. Why? It's a good band. Just wanted a fucking Pepsi. Surprise proposals. Two people should be on the same page about where a relationship is going and the person proposing shouldn't be nervous about getting a yes from their partner. The surprise should be when the proposal is happening, not that the proposal is happening. Murder, and serial killers in particular. Crime in general. Thug life, violence, rape, robbery, murder, all of it. I work in a prison and I can tell you that there are some people still serving time for trying to be gangster in the 90s since that was the hip thing to do. Eating disorders. There's nothing as sexy as fainting when you stand up too quickly or random heart palpitations. Unless you count extra body hair or rotting teeth. Just what you want to dream about. Serial killers. I don't get how people can find them attractive. Most people romanticizing them are teenagers who don't understand the fact that murder is horrible and hurts the people who knew the victims on an exponential level. Introversion. I'm more on the introvert side than the extrovert side, and it doesn't make me special. It doesn't make me any smarter than an extrovert, or superior in any way. We aren't even all that different, it's just people really love to categorize things. I got okay at pretending, but I get tired more quickly when I do. That's all there is to it. It's not good. I remember reading this post, and I think it sums it up pretty well. Online introvert/extrovert quizzes be like, would you rather be alone reading a book or snorting cocaine with 800 different people? Sorry if I have repeated any mental illness, specifically BPD. As someone with BPD, it isn't cute or a quirk. Drug abuse, prescription medication, cigarettes, being able to eat a ton of junk food and not gain weight, being able to drive good while under the influence, mentally ill characters such as BoJack Horseman, Lisa Rowe, Girl, Interrupted, Rick and Morty, etc., self-harm, serving time in prison, murderers, stereotypical club life such as Molly, excess drinking, blackout hookups, etc., suicide and suicidal ideation. Poverty. That shit sucks.